So this is part 2 of the talk about the games here for here. I did CBS sing one. Internet treatment, so the flex and run the second feature game, the second net game in the early window. So Chris Myers and Mark Sanchez this week. They get the second game in the early window for Fox. They get Philadelphia at NY Giants. Chris Myers normally does games for Fox on a part-time basis. At least this year he does. This year when there's 6 games, which there was, if there was no like London game or like extra Monday night, there would be 6 games. And then there's buys now going on, so there's only like 5 games a week for Fox and CBS. But when there's 6 early on in the year, 2 weeks there wasn't 2 Monday nights. Maybe Fox and CBS each week they split one. Week 3, week 4. So, he was on some games, but then he would do NF college. When Chris Myers was doing NFL game. Chris Myers is college as well now for Fox. He never used to college, he just did NFL. But now he's on a part-time basis. Right now, literally 6 games. And then filling in for getting a spot when Joe Davis is gone. Because Amami moves up to Greg Olsen. And Chris Myers moves up to Mark Sanchez. But, anyways, it's Philadelphia and NY Giants. Philadelphia is 3-2. They had an off week already. And they are just up and down, They're up and down. Philadelphia is in an NFC that's kind of unexpected NFC. They beat the Saints by only 3. They lost the Falcons by a point. They lost the Browns by 4. They lost the Buccaneers by 17. So they're up and down, they're up and down. So we'll see if Philadelphia can get a solid win. A good win. I don't know if it's a good win. It's an expected win. Kind of an expected win. But with Philadelphia, this year being up and down, it might take it, but I think Philadelphia probably will take it. But Philadelphia needs this win to build momentum, to get some momentum going. You can't just be up and down every week, 9-8 is not going to get you in the playoffs. Especially this year when the NFC North is really solid. You got Washington that's good. Dallas could sneak in. Maybe you got, San Francisco could sneak in. Probably they might as the NFC West, but you could have maybe, you could have a few teams that are battling out, and you don't want to be in one of those. You want to be in the wild card, at least you don't want to be especially this year, being up and down, you want to get some momentum, so you can get a wild card spot for sure. And NY Giants, they desperately need a win. They don't have to have a win. But they're gonna fall to 2-5 if they don't get a win. The NY Giants, so they need a win. So their season isn't falling already, especially in this very competitive in this NFC, which is, the NFC, North. I mean, it's tough, this FC North. You got the FC South, the Falcons, Buccaneers. You got the 40. You got some solid teams that, typically weren't solid before. Now are becoming really solid, though. And are really becoming really solid, really good, so. Both teams need to stay competitive in the NFC wildcard picture. And why Giants need more of Philadelphia, but both teams need it just as much. So it's gonna be a good, who can come out and give the most energy and actually motivated despite, they're up in their season so far and actually gain extra momentum towards the NFC wildcard. Seattle and Atlanta. Seattle is 3-0 to start the year. And Atlanta is now 4-2. Atlanta was a team that wasn't super doing well the last couple of recently, but they have had they're kind of had some close games. All their games are close, but they've, turned it around. They started 1-2, turned around to 4-2. And Seattle's 3-0. Now they're 3-3 now. And a team that's kind of starting to lose their momentum. Seattle. Seattle went out to a hot start. And I was like, But I mean, who they played, to see who they played. And yeah, that's kind of expected. But they're falling now. And can Atlanta take advantage of Seattle falling and actually prove, like last week, okay, they're a good team. They're starting to get good. Being a not so great team. They have beat a a good win on their record. They do. Atlanta does. They have a good win on the record. They have the Tampa Bay. They have Tampa Bay. They have Philadelphia. So they got 2 solid wins. But they need that momentum to they need to keep that momentum going against those teams in Seattle struggling a little bit. And that's with King Albert Johnson. That's the third ranked game. We have the fourth game on the Fox Room, the bottom tier game. Kevin Kugler with Daryl Johnston in Miami at Indianapolis. Miami this year is playing without Tua Tagovailoa at quarterback. And again, he is out again obviously with another concussion. And he just looks like he just won't retire, The NFL is trying to push, people are like, should the NFL push him to retire? Should, the coach, should, the people in Miami just, get him to, just get him to leave, have a plan for him when he should retire, and just quit the NFL, and it's so we'll see though. I don't know, but they're struggling this year. With that suspected Tua, they were doing okay with him, but then we got Indianapolis, who is up and down this year, 3-3. They were doing that, so they had Anthony Richardson in. He got hurt, so he is out. And now they've had Joe Flacco in. He did okay the first game. It's not bad, but then the second game. So, there's been a couple games that Joe Flacco's done in. And that was the game against the Steelers. He was injured. He entered the game against the Steelers early in the first quarter, and then Joe Flacco's been doing good since. And they got a test against the Dolphins, so we'll see if they can beat the Dolphins this season, or on Sunday. But it should be expected them to beat them, but we'll see. I mean, Miami is kind of going through like a season that, they know it's not going to be the hottest season probably. But I mean, you still want to fight hard. This player's still going to fight hard, try to do as best they can. And Indianapolis right now needs a win. Stay competitive in the AFC right now. They are fighting with other teams for wildcard spots. Just right now, currently fighting with the Steelers, the Broncos, the Chargers for wildcard spots. So they need a win to stay competitive in the NFC South. AFC, or the AFC South, AFC South. But, I mean, they have to hope that Houston lose another game. But they at least have to get a win this week, because they do play Houston in week 8. So, Minneapolis. So, they need a win now, and they need a win. Especially if Houston were to win again. They need a win. Then they can, get that gap game closer for the AFC South division too. Man, they just need to. I mean, they're not out of that. They're not out of the wild card yet, but they need a. But they need to string together a couple wins and make themselves feel a little bit better about being in the wild card. At least for right now, it's kind of too early to call, but they do need a couple wins. We have Fox Lake Kansas City at San Francisco with Kevin Burkhardt and Sunbury, and that is nationally televised on Fox. It is the rematch of the 2024 Super Bowl on CBS. And Kansas City is undefeated 5-0. The 49ers are up and down at 500 record. And they lost to beat the Jets, struggling Jets. But that's the Vikings. So they lost to Rams, and they lost to Cardinals. So they're up and down. I mean, and this is going to be a tough test coming up for the 49ers. They got 3 tough teams in a row for them. 3 good teams in a row. I mean, even the Cowboys, they're still a good team despite, being up and down, Cowboys' offense is, but their defense just can't stop on their offense. So we'll see. They got 3 tough tests for them. We'll see if their first one shapes out against, Kansas City for San Francisco. Kansas City is just, hasn't won, impressively, They really haven't. Kansas City is. I mean, they've won, but it's they've won by 7 to the Baltimore. 1 to Cincinnati, 1 by 1. Beat Atlanta by 5, which Atlanta's a good team. They beat LA Chargers by 7. They beat New Orleans by 13. So, I mean, they really haven't had, the biggest, they've had a lot of close wins. And, I mean, it doesn't really matter, though, if you have a close win or not. I mean, to win is a win, but, I mean, they do want to gain some separation. I mean, and kind of in some of these games. I mean, they were like that, But, I mean, a win is a win. And it's a close win. Some close wins. I mean, they still give you momentum, I mean, they're used to, not, being in games. They're used to, being in games on late and then, the playoffs. They're used to, both teams being in it the whole entire game, They're used to that, and they're just playing like that the regular season, where they haven't had the greatest start. They haven't had despite being 5-0, they haven't had the best start. They're not bad though, but they just haven't had some separation games. They've needed. feel like ultra comfortable about themselves in the game. The other team's mostly been in it. A lot of these games have been in it. So, but we'll see if they can, but, I mean, winning this game would really, show themselves that, hey, if they get a little separation against San Francisco, like, hey, maybe they're a really solid team. I mean, people know that. I mean, most of the media and all the fans, everyone knows that they're a really solid team. But, can they be extra dangerous trying to go for 3 Super Bowl wins in a row? We'll see here on the Fox late window with Kevin Burkhardt and Brady. That should be a good one. The Fox early and late has a really solid slate this week. Or the Fox early national game is good. We got good Fox late national game. The CBS single window has a good early game as well. So the 3 national games, the 3 national CBS single window, early window, which is in the Fox early window game, and the Fox late window game. All 3 are good solid games. And we got good solid Monday night on ESPN and ABC. Baltimore at Tampa Bay. That's going to be a solid Monday night. One of the 2 minutes. It's going to be a solid one. So there's going to be, so we got some good games. I mean, there's not like, they're all going to be decent games. So it's just that's, some, are just some of these games are just momentum builders for teams like, like Cincinnati, Cleveland, win you really need a win. Both teams really need a win that one to salvage their seasons, not make their season really go downhill. Really downhill. 5 losses could be for Cincinnati, could be 6 for Cleveland, and be really down, and then you'd really need, like, with 6 losses early on, you'd really be out, in the playoff race. You'd be like, those teams that's like down, both teams, so it's like Washington wants to stay competitive in the NFC, be the second divisional team, second place team, which would be the second divisional team. Because of the second divisional team, they're only at the second place team. They wouldn't be. They'd be a second divisional team. Second place divisional team. Then you got, some teams like Las Vegas, LA Rams. Both teams need to win to stay momentum, keep their seasons going. Houston, Green Bay, Houston. Like you got Houston, good solid game. Houston, Green Bay. Houston needs a win, to stay. To keep pace, but they also want to prove that they're a good solid team, still, and that despite their only lost to Minnesota, Green Bay needs to prove themselves that they just don't win against like the expected wins, or they actually win, against a good team. They can actually get a win against a good team. So, Philadelphia and Red Giants, both teams need wins to keep to keep their momentum going. Seattle needs a win to gain back on track, after 3 straight losses. Atlanta needs to ride that momentum after 3 straight wins. And needs the 4th needs to keep that momentum going, get a 4th straight win, especially in a really competitive NFC, because this NFC is really competitive. Like, you got the NF, you got Tampa Bay, you got Chicago, you got Green Bay, you got Minnesota, you got Detroit. You got some solid teams, maybe Philadelphia or Dallas catch up, And so you got Washington, so you got a lot of solid teams that you're battling in the NFC. You got 9 teams for sure. 10 with San Francisco as well, so you got 10 out of 16 fighting for 7 spots. So it's like, so it's tough. right now, and Atlanta needs that, especially if they. Especially they want to keep pace with Tampa Bay for the division. Right now, division be tied, with for Tampa Bay. But they also want, especially when they play Tampa Bay. Again, they have the head-to-head over Tampa Bay. They want to keep that, they want to keep that, going. But then, especially when they play Tampa Bay next time, if they're tied, the record-wise, they could, both teams could, it could, change, what I mean. Or even if they split, even if they're not tight, it could go like division record or something, or something like that. Or maybe Tampa Bay takes the lead over San Francisco, over Atlanta if they're tight, so. When you got Miami, Indianapolis, Indianapolis really needs someone, wants a few minutes to stay in the AFC wildcard hunt. Well, Miami just needs to keep their season momentum going after the bye, had 2 weeks to prepare for Indianapolis. We'll see how it has to. So we'll see that can help Indianapolis, how they take care of that one, if they can, And then Kevin Burkhardt and Brady, San Francisco. San Francisco needs a win, to be near the top, to be in the top of the NFC West. But also, they need a win to prove that, maybe, or get some momentum, they're an up and down team, and they don't need to be, they want to be like a team that's consistent, especially going into the playoffs. They're still good at odds to win the NFC championship. However, they just, don't want to be up and down, keep this up and down momentum for all of the season, They don't want that, They want to be like you want to be consistent, You're not going to win every game most likely, but you just want to be consistent, that consistent team, that San Francisco does. That's, can win a lot of games, can win maybe 12, 13, I don't know, maybe 12 games this season, maybe 12 or 5, maybe 11 and 6. We'll see. So they want to be one of those top contenders in the NFC. They don't want to be one of those NFC teams that, has the, they will get most likely they'll probably get NFC West, but, they don't want to be that. They want to be you want to prove they just didn't get in. Have an easier division, they want to actually prove that they can beat some of the top teams, actually prove they belong in the NFC playoffs, that they're just not one and done team.